So, the Boston Celtics have officially played their first 11 games of the season, and they are as good as advertised. After beating the Sixers the other night, they have now moved up to 9-2, and they currently have the best record in the Eastern Conference. The Boston Celtics look great, but this video is about the face of the Boston Celtics, and a guy who's had a very polarizing career so far, Jayson Tatum. It feels like just yesterday, Jayson Tatum was a rising young star, and the "he's only 19" memes were everywhere. And since then, Jayson Tatum has become one of the most scrutinized players in the whole league. People have been questioning his abilities as a superstar and if he can truly be the best player on a championship team. And this season may be a lot more crucial for him than a lot of people realize. Jayson Tatum has consistently kept himself amongst the top 5 to top 10 best players in the world for at least the past 2 or 3 seasons. He's one of the best scorers in our league, and while he's got some issues offensively, when it comes to just scoring the basketball, he's nearly flawless. He's been a very accurate 3-point shooter this year, and he's always been great at attacking the basket and scoring at will. And he's been hitting shots when they matter as well. In their last game, he hit a dagger 3-pointer that gave the Celtics the win. So if he's this good of a scorer, and he's clutch, and he's been a good team player this year, where does all this Jayson Tatum hate come from? Well, from my point of view and how I've seen the narrative around Tatum change these past few years, I've come to a few conclusions. The first I've got to say is that honestly, I think some people just do not like him. On some non-basketball levels, just from things that Tatum has done in his career that are kind of cringy, like the amount of times he's compared himself to Kobe and how much he mentions it adds a lot of extra pressure and expectations from people, so when he doesn't live up to that, what do you expect? I think all of that plays a big factor, but a lot of it is also holes in his game that have still yet to be fixed. Tatum has never been a great passer, he's always been just a decent defender, he's a very streaky 3-point shooter. As a basketball player, there are still a lot of flaws that need to be worked on, and a lot of bad marks in his career that hold him back still. We saw him lead his team to the NBA Finals last year against the Golden State Warriors, which in and itself is impressive. Even though people had the expectation of them making it every single season, they were still a relatively young team, and making it to the finals is a very impressive feat. But once they were actually in the finals, Tatum absolutely shrunk in the moment. I know it's harsh to say, and people don't talk about it as much as they should, but he did. Playing 40 minutes per game, he averaged 21 points. And he only dropped 12 points in game 1 of the series in 42 minutes of play and shot 17%. And in game 6, the most important game of the series, he had 13 points on 33% shooting. I know it was his first ever final series, but we all know how talented he is offensively. He has the ability to average almost 30 points a game, and for him to shrink like that in the biggest moment of his career so far is definitely altering people's perception of him. I hate to make this comparison, but in LeBron's 2011 final series that's so notorious across NBA fans as the biggest choke ever in this terrible final series, he had very similar stats to what Tatum put up in the 2022 finals. What really confused me about Tatum was how this past postseason went for the Celtics. They lost to the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals, which I don't even really hold against them because the Heat were just hungry this year and everybody seemed on point. But what does confuse me is how the Celtics started off the series down 3-0. There is no reason this talented of a team should be down 3-0 to the Heat. And they proved that because they came back down from 3-0 and forced the series to a Game 7. That part was very impressive, and they could have made history and been the first team to come back down 3-0 and win the series. And in Game 7, the most important game, when everything was on the line, Jayson Tatum only dropped 14 points and choked. Dropping 14 points into Game 7 is ridiculous for one of the best players in the league and for a leader of a team. When you're comparing yourself to Kobe Bryant and showing potential to be a legend in our sport, when everything is on the line, how do you choke like that 2 years in a row? So when it comes to his playoff history these last few years, that's where they stand right now. And I'm not trying to make it sound like making it to Game 7 of the conference finals and losing in the finals isn't still impressive, but we all know how great the Celtics team is and has been for years, and it's just a matter of if Tatum and the rest of this team can get over a lot of the holes in their game. So as the team stands right now, I personally think this is the best Celtics team we have seen in a while. Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis are absolute game changers, and Tatum is playing at an MVP level right now. I think it's very unlikely that he will win it over somebody like a Jokic or an Embiid or even a Luka right now, but his stats are up with the best of the best right now. Through the first 11 games, he's averaging 28, 9, and 4 on 50, 40, 80 shooting splits, and actually just watching him play this year, you can tell he's maturing. Very similar to how a lot of star players evolve and play more mature and strategic as they get older, we can see the same thing happening to Tatum right now. It's obvious that he takes the game very seriously, and that he's very ambitious and hungry, and he wants to be the best player in the world, but only time will tell if he's going to be able to get over that hump. This season is going to be very big for him and the Celtics team, and I want to believe that this team can make it to the finals again and possibly even win. But based off what we have seen from Tatum for the past 2 years, when the lights are the brightest and all the marbles are on the line, he chokes. It's all a guessing game at this point, but what do you guys think? What do you guys think about Jayson Tatum's stance in the league right now? And do you guys think this Celtics team has what it takes to win the championship this year? Let me know what you all think in the comments below, but that's all I've got for today. Thank you all for watching. And with that being said, I'm out of here, and I'll see you on the next one.